today, and we will be talking about the OpenEI Wind for Schools portal, which is where all of the data from the Wind for Schools turbines is reported and shared and archived. So this should be a really interesting tool for you all. And this site is great because not only does it have the data, it has some tech support information, and it also has educational activities that you can use in your classroom. And then after we're done with that, I thought I would also show you a new resource. The tool is a spreadsheet with information on how to download historical data from the OpenEI website. And then it has a couple of data sheets that are pre-programmed with all the equations, and once you copy and paste the data into there, it'll spit you out some really interesting information. So first I will direct you to the Wind for Schools portal on the OpenEI website. So OpenEI is a wiki, basically, but for data. So it's pretty cool. We're going to go through each of these tabs that you see at the top in order. So there's a home page, there's a page where we can compare data from different turbines. There are some educational resources, there's turbine support information, there's software and downloads, and then there's information on careers in the wind industry. So again, OpenEI, it's a place where we have the ability to analyze renewable energy and energy efficiency data from a general standpoint. So OpenEI in general, not this Wind for Schools site in particular. You can share data sets, you can view, edit, and add data. You can also download data or upload your own data, as well as rate and provide comments on the usefulness of the data sets. So again, it's like a wiki, but for data. So very cool. Now, Wind for Schools, again, if you didn't make the webinar back in September, Wind for Schools is a national funded program through the Department of Energy, active in 12 different states, but you will see probably more than 12 states representing their wind turbines on this map here. And there is a standard wind turbine, which we call the SkyStream. And the SkyStream is a 2.4 kilowatt turbine, has a cut-in speed of about 8 miles an hour, 3 meters per second. They range from 35 feet to 70 feet tall, depending on the installation. The blades are about 6 feet long. And depending on where it is, it's going to have a different efficiency. And that's something that you'll be able to calculate with the data that's here and with the spreadsheet that I'm going to show you later. So first, let's look at the Wind for Schools portal homepage. So the first thing you see on here, the first thing that's going to catch your eye is the map, and this map identifies where we're seeing different wind turbines. So for instance, you see there's a bunch in Alaska, there's a bunch in the mid-Atlantic, there's a bunch in the middle, there's a bunch in the Southwest, and a bunch in the Pacific Northwest, and in that region there. So if you scroll in or zoom in for Virginia, for example, and I'll zoom into Virginia and Harrisonburg, and you will see that we have a couple of wind turbines in the Harrisonburg area. This turbine, when you scroll over it, Central High School. This one is Thomas Harrison Middle School. And so you can look at where all the installations are located. Now, if you click on one, it's going to tell you a little bit more information, and then it's going to allow you to compare that data, which will take you to this tab here, the comparison tab, or it will tell you information about the site. So here's the site's page. It tells you a little bit of information on where it's located, the turbine that it has, some of that information that you could possibly want. So if we go back, so you can view that. So the other things that you're going to see on the home page are how much wind energy has been produced through these wind turbines that we've installed at schools through the Wind for Schools program since the program started in 2008. So over 5 million kilowatt hours produced, over $500,000 saved, and then they don't have the information on average kilowatt hours per year and month. You'll see a quick link over here to educational resources and curricula. You can also get there through the tab up here called educational resources. It's going to look very similar. And then there's some information about funding over here. And so funding, the Win for Schools funding spreadsheet. And this will show you examples of how different projects have been funded to get these turbines up to their schools. There's also a link here to the Wind Exchange website. So again, in the last webinar on the Wind for Schools National Network, you'll know that the Wind Exchange is the Department of Energy's organization that leads the Wind for Schools program and is part of our national network. We work closely with them. So there's some instructions on what to do. This is showing us the output from the national energy. So this is the total of all of the turbines from today. So you can see that we had a big spike and we're kind of coming back from a lull right now. And this is, again, national. And you can come down here and slide the timeline. Now you can see a bigger timeline, or you can zoom in to the last month or two. So you can do a lot. And then this is going to actually give you the total kilowatt hour output nationally per day. Again, this is from a national standpoint. So not any one particular turbine. Links to these national statistics up here. If you have any problem or you're interested in implementing a project, you can contact the national Department of Energy kind of contact person for the Wind for Schools project, which is Mark Jacobson at NREL, or of course you can contact me. So if you have any colleagues that are interested in the program, you can go either way, go to the national level or the state level. So down here, this is the school turbine overview. So this is kind of neat. You can, just like in Excel or any other program, you can hit the title of the column and it'll sort them alphabetically up or down. You can sort by state. So we can see Virginia, all the Virginia projects are right here. We do have 19 wind turbine projects in Virginia, but we only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them on the OpenEI website. Sometimes it's a problem with their Raspberry Pi, sometimes their turbine's not working, sometimes we just don't have a good contact at the school, but you can see that most of you guys, good number of us are on here. So Central High School, Clover Hill, Grassfield, Luray, Ridgeview, Thomas Harrison. Those are mostly host school projects. Spotsylvania is an affiliate who has a 1 kilowatt, no, I'm sorry, they have an old 1.8 kilowatt SkyStream installed at their tech center, but they asked for a Raspberry Pi when we offered them. And some of the schools that are not on here because they have their own dashboard that they use at the school and they're not compatible, or at least they're not compatible yet. So the university, Kansas State University is still working on that, getting them up to date. So that's just the quick summary of what's going on. The power, the wind speed, the energy today, and the total kilowatt hours produced in their lifetime. So right now we have Clover Hill is probably the only one that's generating, which is interesting because they're in Richmond and they don't usually get a lot of wind. So you can see what's going on right now. Then down here, this is the part that's super cool. This is where you can download the historical data. So if we pick a school, let's pick a school like Burlington High School. Burlington High School has a lot of data. So if you see that when you click on a data set, if it's in black, the data exists. And this is per month. And if it's grayed out, the data doesn't exist. So you can see that it's different for every school. So yeah, so there's lots of them that don't maybe have data all the way back. But if you go down more recently, you'll see Ponderosa High School. So for example, you could do this, and then if you wanted to actually download this data, you could click on one and hold the control button down and click on as many that you want to download. Let's say we just want We just want 2015, whatever we've got. And when you hit submit, it's going to deliver you a zip file. And you see this at the bottom left-hand corner. This zip file is going to contain one CSV, comma delineated text file, for each month that we downloaded. So you can see it's for month 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 11, and 12 of 2015. So it's 1 month at a time. So you're going to have to open them up and compile them if you want to look at a full year's data. And that's how you do the historical data. And then at the very bottom, you'll see a couple more links in here, little windows. The first one is a best practices manual for developing and sustaining Win for Schools projects. So that's a nice document you can download if you're interested. And then extra credit projects, there's some ideas for extra credit projects. So if we scroll all the way back to the top, let's go to the next tab. That would be the comparison tab. And in here, you can pull down the menu and you could compare, let's say, a wind turbine in Alaska with a wind turbine in somewhere in the middle, how about Nebraska, with a wind turbine on the East Coast, let's say Virginia. And you can look at the data here tabularly and it'll tell you what's going on. But if you scroll down, it allows you to see the output and how that changes. And so you can see that we don't have a lot going on at the two sites in the middle. At Clover Hill doesn't have much going on. And you can see that the wind turbine in Alaska is definitely doing some stuff here. So you can even scroll through the tabular data and it'll see 0, 0, 0, 0s comparatively. So there we go. We got some stuff going on in Alaska. So I maybe didn't pick 2 really good schools, so maybe we can find some more. But you can go through here and you can find a couple of different schools that maybe are generating some electricity. That one doesn't look like it's doing much of anything. Let's need another East Coast project that's doing something. Is it doing anything? Nope. So anyway, so that's the comparison tool. So you can actually look at the energy output, but you can also look at the average wind speeds. And you can then look at average power. So you can change what you're looking at. And this is all built right into the site, which is really nice. So that's most of the data related stuff. The rest of what's on this portal is more resources. So under the educational resources, you can look at different levels and people, since this is a wiki, people can upload and share activities that they're using. So let's go to the middle school level. And at the middle school level, I know I have submitted some things, an anemometer activity, blade design modification sheets, blade design testing sheets, problem-based learning, getting to know how does a windmill work, how to make a windsock. There's some actual need curricula on here, things that other teachers or Win for Schools folks have created. There's one on wind turbine economics, and these are all here for you to share and use. And if you create something new and want to put it here, that'd be super. It's great to be able to share those things. So, so that's middle school, but you can also go into elementary school or high school and look at some of the things are going to be the same, but looking at tip speed, doing some wind measurements, wind speed calculations. So there's lots of stuff in here. Under turbine support, you're going to find how to report your turbine's data to OpenEI. This is great. If you contact us here at the Center for Wind Energy, we will do this for you or help you do this. But if you're having any problems and trying to do it on your own, this is the place to come. You can also create your own turbine wiki page. So once you get your turbine, you can create your own page, and then your data will go straight to your page. Under software and downloads, there's lots of stuff for the SkyStream. The SkyView 2.0 is the interface that you use on the computer to troubleshoot. There's some drivers and things. And then there's the Raspberry Pi. So again, the Raspberry Pi is a small microcomputer that we use that communicates with the SkyStream and then takes the data that it's getting from the SkyStream and send it straight to OpenEI. So this has got some disk imaging for setting up your Raspberry Pi. It's got a setup guide. It's got lots of different stuff. So, so that's a great resource as well. And then lastly, because if you recall, one of the main objectives of the Wind for Schools program is not only K-12 outreach and working with college students to engage them in wind energy education, but the real goal is to do all this education in hopes that we are creating a very well-informed future workforce for our industry. So career awareness is huge for Wind for Schools. So this is a great resource if you're looking to find out information about careers in wind energy. There's a lot of great links here to places where you can find more information between the American Wind Energy Association, the Bureau of Labor, the U.S. Department of Energy. I mean, everybody's got a different place. And this is one I'm going to point out to you because this one is one of my favorites. This is the wind career map put out by the Department of Energy. And this is great because it shows you that there's lots of different categories of the wind industry, and then there's very different levels. So you don't have to have a PhD to work in the wind industry. You can have you know, community college or even high school education with a little bit of experience. And so they range in job from an attorney who obviously needs an advanced degree, and it tells you a little bit about the career path and the job description, all the way to transportation workers and all of the things that you could maybe move up to. So if you are a transportation worker, maybe you aspire to move up to a logistician or a salesperson or even a sales manager. So it's really neat, and you can explore lots of different jobs in here. Site plant managers, land acquisition specialist, engineering manager, research scientist, to a professor. So like I said, if you're interested in careers in wind energy, this is a great resource for you. So that's it for the OpenEI website. It's pretty plain and simple, cut and dry, but I know that a lot of us don't even know that this is available. And now that you do, now that you know that you can come straight to this front page and download historical data, I want to show you this great spreadsheet. So this is a spreadsheet that is being developed by NREL. So it's not available yet, it's not in its final version, but I wanted to kind of preview it with you guys. So this is a Turbine Template for teachers. It's an Excel spreadsheet designed to help educators affiliated with the Wind for Schools program to manipulate the data that you can download directly from your turbine or through the OpenEI site. So the first thing we do is we explain the different tools. So there's data pages, and you'll notice them down here. There's data 1, 2, and 3. And the data pages are going to allow you to do your own comparison of 3 different turbines. So the 3 data pages look exactly the same, but you just want to maybe put 3 different turbine data in there, or 3 different years from your own turbine, or whatever you want to compare. Columns A through L are where the data can be inserted that you download from OpenEI. And once everything's properly sized, M through V columns do simple, useful calculations that are going to provide information about the energy being produced, wind characteristics of the site, and the turbine's performance. And then it makes a lot of suggestions on graphs that you might want to make. So this will explain all of the different columns, and these are all of the calculations, the M through V. So if you want to understand how they did it, they'll show you all the equations. But all the equations are programmed in for those of us who don't want to deal with Excel programming. So these are the basic directions. This is, again, how you would go to something like we just did, how you would go to the OpenEI website and go to the historical data and download data, just like we did. Now, once you get there, it's going to actually show you how to copy and paste the data in those CSV files that you were downloaded into the zip into this spreadsheet, and copy the formulas down and get all your data. So this is some information here in this tab about how to select data and create graphs. And then this is the teacher tab. The teacher tab is a place for you all to go and to explore different ways that you can use your data, different things you can graph, different topics for discussion. So again, graphing ideas, total energy versus time, total energy versus month. Oh, so date and time, month of the year or hour of the year. So you can look at seasonal or diurnal variabilities, CP versus wind speed, which is your capacity factor or your kind of your efficiency. So that will be interesting to see. 1 day of daily energy versus the hour, rotor speed versus wind speed, power versus wind speed. So there's lots of different things. And it tells you what that's going to tell, what that graph will actually illustrate for us. Lots of different topics for discussion. And then these activity ideas, this is where I think if you are a host of a turbine at your school and you're kind of running out of things to do with your turbine, students aren't getting super excited, this is where I think you can come in and do some really cool stuff. So I will be planning to post a video in the next week challenging you all to take on one of these questions. And I haven't decided which one yet, but there's lots of good questions in here, and it'll allow you guys to really get to know the OpenEI database and get to know your turbine. So beware, that's coming soon. And then this is just an example of that data page. And if you recall, we had our zip file. If I open up one of these and I copy everything that's in here and paste it into this right here. Oops, what happened? Oops. Copy and paste into the spreadsheet. You'll see that the calculations actually do their thing. And after you have readjusted all of your column widths, you will see all of the equations. So there's lots of data here. And if you highlight the equation cells and then double click that little black box, it'll fill in all the data for you for that whole time period. And so now you can do some of those graphs that they said, different graphs that you might make. So that's just a little preview of what you might want to do with the spreadsheet. So with that, I will leave you with some final notes about, I encourage you to go to this OpenEI website. I will put the page back up here so you can see that website once again. The address is en.openei.org/wiki/wind_for_schools_portal. So I encourage you to just investigate, take a look, play around, see what you can find, see if you can download some data. And if you're interested in the spreadsheet, please send me an email and let me know, because I have been given permission to share with the caveat that this is definitely a draft and shouldn't be shared widely. So you all are VIPs and you are welcome to see it in draft form. So with that, I will say thank you so much for coming out and listening to this webcast, and I look forward to talking with you and have a super afternoon. Bye.